Guys, what relationship mistakes do you see girls making? Having the perfect relationship fantasy and the unspoken metric by which they judge a relation, and being upset when someone fails to meet the metrics they never expressed. Hated this. My last ex did this constantly. One time after an argument I walked her out the front door and she went on her way home, which was literally a block away. She came back saying that I was supposed to run after her. Not telling us what's wrong. It's a cliche, but it is so true. Like, just tell me FFS. My ex used to do the salad, and I'd usually ask her once or twice, but she wouldn't tell me. Sometimes never telling cause I only asked once or twice. I eventually stopped asking altogether. Not having a life outside of your so. It's healthy to have different groups of friends and different hobbies, so don't forget to and what made you happy before you were in a relationship. Alternately, having a life outside of your so that you compartmentalize entirely. You don't have to immerse your partner completely in all element of your life, but keeping something entirely separate and forbidding any contact is impractical and suspicious. Assuming the worst. Communication is an imprecise art. Any given sentence can probably be interpreted in 5 different ways. I see many women who automatically assume that, of those 5 ways, he must have meant the one that is the worst. When we started dating, I told my wife, if I say something, and it can be taken 2 ways, and one of those ways makes you upset, trust me, I meant the other one. I'd never say anything to hurt you. Conversely, I had a female friend / coworker who offered her assistance, and I said no, I think I've got it, thanks. What I meant was, no, I've got it, thanks. As I found out, she apparently called her sister and the 2 of them decided that what I really meant was I don't respect your abilities and I'm trying to undermine you publicly in order to humiliate you in front of our coworkers and supervisor. The classic silent treatment. What did I do wrong? Well, if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you. Yup. Guys or gals, doesn't matter. If you truly care about having a healthy, happy relationship, then you make it a priority to avoid problems and talk about issues, especially before they become bigger problems. If people play mind games and do the whole "oh, I've been mad at you for 6 days but haven't told you and now I'm even more upset because you didn't magically know I was mad" bullpoop, they're just looking to create drama and their priority is clearly not a good relationship. A lot of them don't really bother complimenting their guy and it sucks, but that's sad. Compliments are huge in a relationship. That's why so many people resort to social media, because they are not getting enough attention from their so. This can be discussed and changed though. Happened with my husband and I remember asking him to post a picture of me that he took, and then I asked myself why I so badly wanted it to be on social media, and it was because it was one of the only pictures I felt I looked pretty, and because my husband wasn't really reassuring me that either. Turned out my husband is always complimenting me in his head. I'm like, say it out loud, man. Now he does. And every day I feel like the most beautiful woman to my husband. Don't even wear makeup, because he told me I don't need it. This is a great answer to this post. People can't forget to compliment their so every day. Helps not only the relationship, but then personal confidence outside the relationship, which in turn can lead to a better worker, better friend, etc. Playing mind games. Stop being stupid. Stop being petty. The dude isn't going to pick up your signals, your tests, whatever. Tell him you have a problem and what steps you want him to take, preferably without getting out emotional spelunking equipment. This goes with even getting a date with a guy in the first place. I've heard single girls ask how to let a guy know they are interested in him, and many of the responses are so stupid. Stop dropping weird hints and signals. Properly communicate and directly tell him. How do you expect to communicate with him about the important stuff in a relationship when you can't even ask him out? Caring about displays of wealth instead of wealth. Ladies, if you want a stable life, don't date the guy who leases a BMW and rents a nice condo, but owns nothing. He is spending every penny he makes. Date a guy who drives a paid-off car and doesn't display his wealth. Granted, I've only been in one relationship, but it frequently felt as though my girlfriend was communicating, "I would like you better if you were a fundamentally different person," albeit in a more tactful way. It goes both ways, but your partner doesn't exist exclusively to make you happy, they are their own person. We generally say what we mean. There isn't a deeper meaning or a passive-aggressive meaning. Don't think too much into it meaning something else, because you will only convince yourself that that's what we mean, and then get mad at us for it. If you're confused about something we said, then ask us. Telling friends/coworkers only about the bad things their boyfriends do, then asking for advice and being shocked when they are told he seems mean. Dump him. Not only shocked, but then actively angry that people would misread the situation. The thing is, if you want good advice, a girl needs to include good things he does, bad things she does, good things she does. If people only know that he constantly shirks helping with the laundry, but don't know he's working 12-hour days while she's working 5-hour days, then their advice is going to be based on the impression that he's a lazy a-hole that makes her do everything. Obligatory. I'm not a guy. One big mistake I see girls make more often than guys, but guys sometimes do as well, is always having to do something. You have to be able to just be able to enjoy being together even if you both are doing your own thing, or else you're going to get bored really fast. Me and my hubby are perfectly content just chilling out while I browse the net or play a video game, and he reads his news articles, watches TV, or browses the net. Don't even have to talk. Speaking of talking, girls, do not give your man the silent treatment just because you're having a temper tantrum. If you are afraid of saying something nasty, then just tell him you need a few minutes to cool down and then discuss the problem. Men are not mind readers, ladies. He won't know what is bothering you if you don't open your mouth and tell him. A female friend of mine said she had a problem with being too antagonizing in relationships, being just generally confrontational and not always knowing why. This happened to me a few times in my own relationships and would sometimes mess with my self-esteem. I did once in some psychology article that some women do this because they want the guy to step up. For me personally, these days I'm just like whatever, it's not a big deal. This goes for men and women, and those who leave betwixt, I guess. But I watched my sister date a depressed guy for a year. She put so much time and energy into him, then he just dumped her out of the blue before begging her to take him back a week later. She still has trust issues because of it. Don't try to fix someone, just find someone who is emotionally stable. The sunk cost fallacy. I've known quite a few women who seem to be pretty unhappy and unfulfilled in their relationships, but were unwilling to leave. Why? We have so much history together. I can't just walk away after all the time I've put into this relationship. I need to make it work. Most of the ones I know and or around are not looking for loyal companionship. They are just looking for someone to provide for them. They are just in it to receive and receive and receive whatever it is they crave. For lack of better words, let's go with that. Dating guys that they have to mother. If you find yourself helping with his laundry, cooking, cleaning, etc. without him doing the same for you, or especially if you live together, if you find yourself always nagging him about completely reasonable things and he acts like it's your job to make sure he knows what needs to be done around the house, he's not boyfriend material, and he sure as beep isn't husband or father material. Girls are very well at reflecting the issue back on the other person. You confront them with something, boom, 20 minutes later you're the one to blame about something you didn't even know what's going on. It's like a weird superpower they have. That's manipulation, isn't it? Unwillingness to take responsibility for their own decisions, or just avoiding making decision in the first place. One variation on that is something like the following. Guy, we can meet at X for our date. What do you think? Girl, I don't know. Up to you. Guy, okay, let's go to X then. Afterwards the girl is sulking and pouting because she didn't really want to go that place, or it wasn't like she thought it would be, but refuses to acknowledge that she had a part in the decision making process, and it's not just the guy's fault that she didn't have as much fun as she expected. Assuming the guy can read your mind. Pro tip from someone who used to be this girl and has been in a relationship for a few years. If you stop being immature and illogical assuming he can automatically know what you want, he will eventually be capable of making logical guesses to what you want. You cannot expect someone who doesn't know you to know you. I only really see this from newer or younger relationships. Mine isn't really that old, but I haven't done this since I was a teenager. Even after being with someone for years, people change. People have a lot on their minds. People are quite literally ignorant. Do yourself a favor and your partners and just ducking. Tell them the problem. Help them understand you. Scrolled for a little bit and didn't see it mentioned. Having a bit of independence / something other than your BF. I've seen lots of male friends get into relationships just to see fights break out when they start hanging out more casually and the girl starts to become upset at things they do like game instead of watch TV, choose to cook a quality meal over something fast and immediate etc. Sounds silly.